Check out my melody. This is Entertournament of Champions podcast, coming to you live from Canada. None of that is true, except for the title of the show. I am Jeff, and I'm over here where everybody can see me clearly because this is a video podcast.
Yeah,
that's also a lie.
Oh, we made the leap.
I'm joined by Kyle and JD on Skype. Say hi simultaneously, so it's awkward.
Hi.
That was perfect.
Glad we got like the dual tone thing going on there.
Yeah, me too.
And you harmonized.
I was hoping you were gonna go one way and I was gonna go the other, so that was perfect.
We could take it even further. Let's octave that shit. You go an octave lower, I go an octave higher.
Okay,
1,
you ready?
2, 3.
Hi.
Jesus.
Got it.
Without even trying. This is unbelievable.
This is magic happening, everybody.
It's just, seriously, I mean, we come together, this just happenstance, we all happen to go to the same school together, first off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then
it's pretty weird.
We reconnect years later, just because of our undying passion for geeky things.
Undying.
And
yes.
then, you know, in a moment of sheer, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Not
serendipity.
Karma's serendipitous moment.
Yep.
Serendipity, I like that.
Yeah, you guys said hi in harmony. In perfect harmony, without even planning it. None of this is planned.
That was my senior yearbook quote. It was like, one day I'm going to harmonize with Kyle Neely and Jeff Whitman over Skype. True story.
I remember that. That's crazy.
Go for me.
Yeah. Wow.
And everybody was reading it going, I don't know what Skype is. This guy's a fucking
I dare you to send
idiot.
in a photo that proves him wrong. I dare you.
Yeah, do it.
Yep. I also tweeted that Donald Trump would be president. When Twitter, that was my first tweet when Twitter came like
very prophetic, in an appropriate medium to be prophetic on in that regard.
I said it would be huge.
Huge.
We should be getting residuals for that saying.
Huge. I did include, it was like 76 characters and hit. Yep. Anyway, huge Jackman. So in honor of Baby Driver, which I think is a documentary about a driver that was a baby, learned to drive from a very young age.
Right.
Edgar Wright directed Baby Driver, which I'm so fucking excited about. Holy shit.
Me too.
I hear such good things. In honor of that, today we're going to do the topic of movie car chases. Holy shit, this is a fun one at least it's a fun one to study up on. People will kind of be like, that's kind of an obvious list, but whatever, fuck it. It's kind of an obvious tournament too. Who cares? So what? Who cares? Big whoop. Want to fight about it? All right, so what we do on the show is we take we take our top 10s, our individual top 10s, we put them in a 16-seeded tournament, and then we do a single elimination debate until there's a single champion. I really shouldn't be sick of explaining it. Our show is still new.
Yeah. What is this episode? Like, is this episode 4? I forget.
And I'm already like, you guys know the drill. No, they don't. I don't think they do. Anyway, this episode we're going to reveal our individual top 10s for this, and then we're going to circle back next episode and do a tournament. Unless by the end we can all just agree on who wins anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and start because I haven't started in a while. I always try to defer. So I'm just going to start it with our number 10, and we're just going to go, we're just going to go in order, whatever. We're going to do what we normally do. Guys, go listen to our previous episodes. They're really good. I promise you. And they're full of Moreland Biscuit, prophecies and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Musings and amazing poetry.
All hail Fred Durst.
Absolutely. 100%. I stuck that cookie up my and my life has never been the same since.
Yeah.
So my number 10.
Deep stuff.
Deep
What?
stuff.
What? I didn't. What?
It was a double entendre. It's deep stuff.
Deep stuff.
Deep up in there.
Because
it's
you
deep
stuck
stuff.
the
Yeah, because
cookie
it's stuffed,
up.
and it's deep stuff because it's it's like wisdom.
Oh, I get it. It's double meaning and also deep broken stuff. Break stuff. Anyway,
Thank you. Glad I have you to explain that for me.
This is so dumb. All right, so my number 10. Jesus. My number 10 is Jesus Take the Wheel.
A Randy Travis story.
So my number 10 is Drive, the Nicholas Winding Refn amazing action, like slow burn action movie. This is kind of showing my bias towards the movie itself. Instead of going for the best car chases, I'm going to admit that at the like in the open, because this movie like changed the way I watch movies. And I'm sure this is like a 5-6-year-old movie, but still, it did. It's incredibly beautiful and well paced, and the high tension, beautiful colors. Like the color use is something I never paid attention to before. As I wasn't as honed in on that before. I don't know. It just kind of made me the movie slut that I am now. So
Cool.
Yeah, not just that, but the car chase is great. And then there's the thing at the open. At the open, that's not really a car chase. He's more just evading the cops, but it's like slow in terms of he's not going fast.
I like that. I like that one better than the other one, to be honest.
I agree. That's why it may be on my list here in a little bit, maybe, possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the opening is fantastic, where he's just helping two dudes rob a place. Well, not helping, he's their getaway driver. And,
Right.
I mean, he is technically being chased because he's trying to avoid being discovered. But he's doing it in such clever ways, and he's so cool about it.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it
just so
flips
cool.
the whole idea of a chase on its head, which is why I like that particular scene so much, because like usually a chase scene can, it means you're being chased, but instead he's like evading a chase, so I don't know, it's really cool. I like how it kind of flips itself on its head.
Yeah, and it's as intense as any chase scene in the
I 100%
you can
agree.
see too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm glad I put it in my 10 so we could talk about that, because the chase itself is really cool, because it's like a robbery gone wrong in literally a split second. Dude runs out, gets shot in the head, or in the chest or whatever, and he's dead. And Ryan Gosling is I mean, for once, he's finally like that not that cool and calm dude. He's like, all right, well, immediately jumps in his car and they go fucking off. And there's no score. The score is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing to this movie. They cut that out for the chase, which a lot of these amazing chases kind of did that actually. But yeah, they cut that out. And yeah, obviously it's 100% practical. Like there's nothing in it that needs to be CG'd. It's all practical. It felt very old school, even though I wasn't fully educated by that point on old school car chases. Like even as late as late as the 90s, like Ronin. I wasn't really educated on that, but I got like an old school feeling from this because it was like just practical driving, and everything just felt like, I don't know, this dude had a legit skill. And a stuntman could pull that off. Like, everything didn't feel out of the realm of possibility. But it was his skill level with his driving that was really impressive, and how he was driving in reverse for like half the chase. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Thought that was awesome. So, Kyle.
Jay Kyle.
Shady's going to be last. He hasn't been last in it feels like a while. I don't know.
Okay.
My number 10, another I guess these are all pretty practical, but another real practical chase, Death Proof. Maybe my number 10.
That's a good
specifically the scene where the girls are kind of taking over and one of them's like on the hood.
Yes.
And,
oh my God, yes.
That is actually played by like a real famous stunt lady, a stunt woman or whatever.
Bell. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And I just love that whole scene, man. It's so good. And again, talk about like kind of flipping itself on its head again. Because the chasees become the chasers, type of thing. And the movie is just kind of maybe two different chase sequences, but like very long sequences, maybe a movie that we'll talk about later, kind of delves into being like a full chase sequence type movie. But Death Proof really nails it for me. It's one when I was kind of when I was exploring different other people's suggestions like that, this one kept on screaming out to me, because I think it's also a pretty underappreciated movie. Everyone's always like, "Oh, I like Planet Terror more," when it comes to those two movies. Which I'm like, okay, well, they're different. I don't know if I would compare a zombie movie to a very cheesy Robert Rodriguez zombie movie to a fucking
cheesy,
practical,
dude.
Super cheesy. I like it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Dude, dumb. It's a dumb movie.
My only issue with Death Proof is that it's got a lot of slow parts. I rewatched it recently, and I was like, man, this is slow.
I upon a rewatch as well, which wasn't recent, but I was like, man, I don't remember being so chatty at the beginning. Like very, very chatty.
Right,
starts
exactly.
that movie. But yeah, I dig that movie quite a bit. So Death Proof, my number 10.
That's a badass number 10, man. That's an honorable mention for me because I love that finale. Love it. Zoe Bell on the hood of the car, Kurt Russell turning into a little bitch at the end. It's amazing. Yep. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
The only loose thread is Mary Elizabeth Hotface. We don't know what happened. Sorry, that's her last name, everybody. Mary Elizabeth
Sorry, everybody.
Hotface. At the end of the movie, she's like all right, cool. I'm gonna stay here with this hillbilly guy that I can totally trust, and we don't see her again the rest of the movie.
Okay.
And she's still in like a cheerleader outfit. Yeah, it's not gonna be like awkward or rapey at all. Anyway,
it was definitely both of those things.
absolutely. So JD, what's your number 10?
And I don't know if this is going to make people happy that it's on the list or pissed because of the placement, because this is like the consensus number 1 of all time based on any sensible Google search. But I put The French Connection at number 10.
I'm glad it got some representation.
And you know, I obviously appreciate it from a classic standpoint, but it kind of is just Gene Hackman going through the street just honking on his horn for like 5 minutes. Once you said that, I was like, am I remembering that wrong? Like, because it had been so long since I'd seen the movie.
Yeah.
And I started watching it. I watched it a couple times last night.
Is it really just him honking? It's not as thrilling as everyone remembers?
It's based. Well, no, it is, and it's cool. I like the perspective because they put the camera on the hood of the car, so you're looking at things from his vantage point for probably about half of it. And
it was the first time they did that, I think. But I think there's another movie that did the first person perspective a little bit better. That we'll talk about later.
But if you're aware that this was like an epic chase thing, it really just looks like Gene Hackman's just looking up at a train trying to get somebody's attention, because he's looking up at the train trying to find out, you know, where he is underneath it and everything. But reading up on the production of it was pretty cool. Apparently they didn't get the proper permits that they needed when they were.
Oh shit.
So there is that like kind of rebel aspect to it, which made me appreciate it. So I'm glad I could sneak it onto the list, because that one and another classic, they're mandatory for me.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
I agree with that. French Connection, it just got bumped. Like I watched another classic that came out before French Connection that kind of set the tone for car chases, and it did get bumped because when I rewatched it, it just wasn't as riveting without context, which I guess is unfair to.
True,
because all of these deserve context, I think. It's unfair to watch it without it, but because it does build up to that, and then the foot chase after I find more riveting, though. That's the thing.
Yes.
Like, as soon as he gets out of the car, he's chasing that dude for another 5-10 minutes on foot, and it's great. I love it. He is literally honking because he's in an unmarked car, and he doesn't have his little cop siren or whatever, like his little police siren. So he's just kind of left to the device in his car, which is the horn, and he's trying to chase that train, which doesn't always follow the street he's on. There's an element there that's pretty suspenseful. I do appreciate the market left on car chases and everything.
For sure.
I'm glad it got a mention, man. I love Gene Hackman, man. I miss him so much.
I know.
He's dead?
No, he's just retired.
You would think so, right? Because if they're not on screen, they're dead.
I was like, man, I don't remember that death.
He and Daniel Day-Lewis are just fucking chilling, drinking mojitos on the beach right now, man.
Mojitos.
Put me there. I want to be there in that conversation.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're both like in characters from previous
movies. Hollywood's on fire and we don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Daniel Day-Lewis is like, call me Lincoln still. And Gene Hackman's just, well, you just cut the shit. He always struck me as a no-nonsense dude.
It's awesome.
So my number 9 rhymes with 9 and Drive. It's Fast 5.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
That totally rhymes, Fred Durst. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, 9, 5, Drive. Yeah. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. It's kind of weird I didn't open Rollin' because that's a driving song. Well, you can say it's a driving
What's
song.
What's wrong with you?
You've already done Rollin'.
I know, but that's the problem. Like, damn it.
Perfect.
We didn't forecast the Fred Durst. We should start coming up with thematic lyrics for the beginning of each episode. We'll work on it. I've got the whole linguistic.
We're 100% gonna do that. You can't just put that out there and then not deliver on it.
Like Boiler will be like about, I don't know, movie breakups or love movies. Boiler's like the heartbreaking song. I like the music video a lot actually, because it splits animation with live action. The song is instrumentally great, but it's still Fred Durst going, yeah, you heard me. So next on the Fred Durst cast. All right, so Fast 5 is my number 9. And I think it's just a really, really inventive, over-the-top. This is when they kind of started going even more over the top and embracing their identity for the ridiculousness that they are. And they literally, this is like the last chase. Not the race, the random race with the cop cars. Just to remind audiences that you're watching a Fast and Furious movie. This is the very end where it's the two, what are those, Chargers?
I think so. Chargers or Challengers?
Yeah, one of the two. They're Dodges for sure, and they're dragging a safe behind them, just destroying things, like running away from the cops and stuff, and it's just fucking epic, dude. Like, I mean, it's so cool. Using that safe as a weapon too to knock out cars and stuff like that.
Right.
And then you have that whole Ocean's 11 type moment where it's like, oh, they put the safe somewhere else or something like that. Which is cool. I always like those moments in heist movies, even if it's obvious. I don't care. It's still fucking cool. It's like, oh, these guys are geniuses, even though it's Vin Diesel and we know he's not. So, sorry. Dirtball family.
I'm gonna get this safe for my family.
I didn't like
wrong movie, Vin. Groot.
I like how Dom's like, gotta turn right here, and Paul's like, no, there's no way we can make it, man. Like you're worried at this point about like ramming through some shit. You just taken out like 5 fucking blocks.
They annihilated like the whole city. It's crazy.
Like, no, man, I don't think we can make it. Like, who the fuck cares? You've just blown through everybody.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh,
it was
man,
a lot of fun.
That movie is great. Like, to me, it's one of the better action movies to come out in the at least the 2000s, like this millennium. Maybe 2010s is better to say.
Yeah.
Certainly the best in the franchise, in my opinion. I just like heist movies, and when they're done well, like really well, like this one was, especially in terms of action. Like, it's just high octane, fast and furious action. Literally, it is like that's the definition of it. And yeah, that safe thing was just awesome. It was just so cool. It was a totally dude action. I accept that. I embrace that for what it is. So sorry to anybody that's like, you bumped French Connection for Fast 5? Are you fucking serious? Sorry.
People are going to be mad that French Connection's not going to come up again. They're going to be very upset with me.
Very upset. Kyle, what's your number 9?
You know what, Jeff? When people ask me what I do, I like to tell them I drive. It's Drive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sweet. It's my least favorite part of that entire movie. They're like, "What do you do?" He's like, "What do I do?" I don't think he actually says that.
No,
but
he doesn't. No.
I drive. But the way he says it, I'm like, yeah, the movie's called... God damn it, I fucking hate this. Very stupid complaint I have about a fucking masterful movie. So, anyways, I can't really add much more than what you said earlier, but I really like it. But the actual chase I had in mind when picking this was the first scene, even though the later scene is actually a real chase scene. You know?
It's a short one, too. It's like 5 minutes, but they all are, technically. So.
Yeah, they all are about that point, yeah. But I really like the very quietness of that first scene, but it's still like the tension was really high, and my palms were getting sweaty, and Mom was making spaghetti, all that good stuff. What the fuck? I'm in a super goofy mood tonight. I don't know.
Mom, spaghetti, he's nervous. Keeps on forgetting. Now we got to move to Eminem quotes. Fuck me.
Oh my god.
Fuck. Oh my god. But yeah, I just really enjoy that movie, and he is cool like a cucumber the entire time.
He is. You can tell he's got experience and.
Maybe we're talking about I like to talk about people like how they're acting behind the wheel when they're doing, because almost everybody acts a little differently that I have on my list, and he's just like stoic, almost like a robot's driving.
Right.
Calculated and cold and everything, and I just really like that. It's just a really good scene, man. And yes, the scene later, the actual chase scene later, is awesome as well. It really delivers. So I think it's a
fan.
Solid movie with some solid chase sequences.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a good movie. I know that people kind of shit on it. It's either A, for its pacing, or B, its violence, or both. I mean, that's just what Refn's all about, dude. He's all about atmosphere and brutality, but he's trying to kind of juxtapose the brutality with art or color to make you kind of go, oh, that's beautiful, but it's fucked up. That's the thing. He does that in everything, and Neon Demon especially. It's the worst example of it.
Yeah.
When the girl, I don't. Do you care about spoilers for Neon Demon, JD? Are you going to see it eventually, or?
Well, I might want to, but so don't be too spoilery.
Well, it's a major spoiler, so I'm not going to mention it then.
Yeah, maybe other people listening.
Because I had no idea that was from the same. Is it the same director?
Yeah, same guy as Only God Forgives, Drive, all that.
Okay. Well, I love Drive, so if it's you tell me it's the guy that did Drive, I'll be interested. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, there's some people that didn't. People are very split on everything post Drive. Drive was a little bit mainstream, even though it had the slow parts, which appealed to like film critics, I guess you would say, or
Yeah.
whoever, the people that just watch films for a living, like that appeals to them, whereas the action and the brutality and stuff appeals to audiences and stuff, or at least a casual moviegoer. Everything after that, nothing like Drive. Nothing.
Well, it's got
like
Christina Hendricks. I'm sold. Don't tell me anything.
Oh God. You would think that
she totally lives.
Only God yeah, she totally lives. You would think that Only God Forgives would have been like this, like, because it's kind of pitched at us. We'd be like, oh, Ryan Gosling's gonna go beat up a whole bunch of Asian people in Bangkok or whatever.
He has that famous quote of "I want to fight you."
Yeah. Guess what that movie's not about?
Any of that? Yeah. It's a fucked up like family story, basically.
It's a very fucked up family drama story. Oh man, I like that movie a lot though.
Yeah, me too.
I'll live and die on the hill that's a fucking great movie. Like,
I agree completely.
Not just like, oh, I subjectively like it. It is objectively a great fucking movie, and people are just wrong.
I've watched so many videos. Like Chris Stuckman, a YouTube critic. I think he's at 1 million viewers now, or 1 million subscribers, whatever they're called on YouTube. On the tube, I don't know. He does analyze videos sometimes where it's not just about here's what I feel about the movie. It's more about diving into each character and their motives and what the director meant by this, that, and the third. And he did one for Drive. I think he did one for Only God Forgives too. I think it was him who did it because it was like deep, and he talked about how much he loved it, and it really it made me appreciate the movie in a new light instead of kind of being. I was kind of mixed on it myself the first time I watched it, even though I more or less liked it because of its beauty in general, cinematography wise. But yeah, he explained it in a way that was just like. He just totally recontextualized like all these characters for me, and the main guy who sings karaoke and stuff. Like, what's his deal? His god complex.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking genius.
It's a deep movie, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in that movie, and like 10 words are spoken the entire
and he knew when he made it. I watched a documentary where he moved to Thailand, I think, to make it with his family, and it's like an hour documentary where that his wife filmed. And he, as soon as he watched I think it was like the first cut, he was just like, this is not as accessible as Drive. It's not going to be a hit. He knew.
Yeah.
He was just kind of bummed out because he wanted it to be that big, but he just knew. He was like, it's not going to work that way.
I know I'm going to get booed at Cannes.
Yeah, people are going to boo the shit out of this movie. Oh, boy.
Boo this man! Boo!
JD, what is your number 9?
All right, mine is the and this would be the new version of the movie, not that old shit, but the Italian Job is my number 9. The Mini Cooper.
How's it going? I'm driving a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, I'm Jason Statham over here driving a Mini Cooper.
Hey,
Jason?
All right, Jason Statham, you were the transporter. Say hi to your mother.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my God, Mark Wahlberg! I feel so blessed right now.
Right, dude. And
I don't know. I don't have one. Sorry.
Man, I remember watching this movie a lot when I was younger. I haven't watched the whole thing in a long time, so it's just one when we first started talking that we were going to do car chases. I knew it was probably going to be on my list more for nostalgia than anything, and going back and watching it, it was fine. But I do like
Chase is great though. I do remember that.
Yes, the chase is fantastic, and I think the worst thing about the movie is that fucking Edward Norton mustache. That was just that was terrible. That was
fake
awful.
As shit. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's totally fake. But yeah, I really liked. I really, even though I think that movie might have been responsible for a lot of the success Mini Cooper started having over here in America, and you started seeing them everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I can definitely fault it for that. But the actual chase scene was really fun.
Yeah.
And I need to go back and watch the original, just because it's been forever since I've seen that one.
It's an inventive use of small cars. I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, totally. Going through the sewer and everything was pretty cool. Like treating it kind of like a half pipe, going up and down, and yeah, man, it's a good time. And Charlize Theron's fun to look at. So there you go.
I remember leaving that movie going, "Who is that?" Yeah, when I was that age. Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say I know 2 things in life. When it's more humid out, I have to shit more for some reason, and 2. Edward Norton can't grow facial hair. He just can't.
He just can't.
Look at that baby face. There's no fucking
Those
way.
are 2 facts. It's like
2 facts of life.
What are the 2 things that you know?
One of the things I know is it's not how you stand by your car, it's how you race your car. You better learn that.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. It's Fast and Furious lessons of life.
That's the first one.
I have an announcement to make. I have never seen The Italian Job. So
really?
Oh, okay.
Never.
It's worth watching the chase, I think. I remember leaving the movie, even at that age, kind of going, yeah, that was okay.
Yeah.
But the chase was good.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Okay.
It's an interesting concept for a heist movie, but I mean, there were like 4 or 5 other heist movies that were pretty
I remember people loving that movie.
time.
Like, oh my god! Like,
Yeah.
like,
yeah. And then they all went
yeah.
Mini Coopers, and they turned into Mini Cooper douchebags. No,
oh, you're right.
sorry.
You're right. Yeah.
Sorry.
You're right.
Sorry to anybody that drives a Mini Cooper.
We just lost all of our Mini Cooper driving.
Damn.
They're in their Mini Coopers
They're a
right
sponsor,
now going,
man.
fuck these guys.
It's okay. The speakers are terrible. They probably missed the joke. So
They're just too busy. They're not even thinking of it. They're like, I gotta get in a fucking car. That's what they're thinking.
exactly.
If I could heist something right now, I would.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm gonna go drive in the sewer real quick, guys. BRB. Oh my god. Yeah, I thought when people bought Italian Coopers for real, like I like in high school and stuff, like I had friends that drove me around, and I sat in the back of one. Like,
oh my
it was
god, miserable.
Like, I didn't even have that much of a gut then, like I do now, because I'm 30 now. Obviously, things change. And I was still like crushing my gut then. Like, it was so bad. Yeah, people that drive those practically without racing it for heists, you're an idiot. Why do you own it?
Like, that's what the salesperson asks. It's like, so what you can steal? And like, if it doesn't meet like if it doesn't meet a certain criteria,
Sorry,
it's like,
you haven't been approved.
fuck out.
Yeah. And your answer is definitely not ass. No, you're not going to steal any ass.
No,
you're not going to get any
because if you get an ass while stealing, it's not going to fucking fit in the car.
Exactly. Anyway, so my number 8. This might ruffle some feathers too, because people prefer the sequel's car chase, but Bourne Identity is my number 8.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. The only reason that it's
first one.
Yeah, the first one, dude. The first one's fucking awesome.
First one is great, man. It's absolutely
good. Yeah,
great.
it's great. It is. Yeah.
I remember watching that going, cars can go downstairs?
Yes.
That shit was awesome.
Yeah.
This is another Italian Job type of use of cars. I guess it may have influenced the way Italian Job ended up being final product wise, but yeah,
possibly.
I remember Bourne Identity, like watching that, and like the car was going everywhere, and being like, again, a practical chase. Fast 5, not so practical, but it's just high octane. I love that shit. So this one is totally practical. You got a real driver behind there doing all this stuff for real. The only reason that it's like 8 is because of the soundtrack over it is very 90s Paul Oakenfold. Like it,
That's so true.
It's just silly, dude. Like it's I don't know. It's very of its time, even though the rest of the movie is goddamn amazing. And especially the chase, though. I love the chase in the first one. The second one, people love it, but it's chaotic as fuck, dude. Like, especially if you're watching it in the theater, you can't keep up with it at all.
No, it took me 3 times to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, and I've seen that movie 5 times. It took me 3 watches today to really or yesterday to.
But
really
people do acknowledge it as
the
better one. Like a lot of people, like the majority, do.
Yeah,
it's just I appreciate Doug Liman, the way he filmed this chase scene specifically. He just focused a lot on how we could see all the action at this, all at once. I just appreciated that a lot. Whereas Paul Greengrass is like, put the camera in the car and fuck it, just let it swing around if it has to. I don't know, man. I still love Supremacy, and Ultimatum is probably my favorite Bourne movie. Still. But yeah, man, that chase and Identity is awesome. So Kyle, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is I'm doubling down on one of your picks, man. It's Fast 5, and you made me kind of feel bad about it because you're like, I know it's like a dude flick, like you're making like it is, but it's like you're making excuses. This movie has a great fucking chase sequence with that save. It's fucking amazing. Be damned with all the practical effects. Who gives a shit? Add a little CG in there. It made the stakes super high.
Well, I mean, we're gonna mention one later that's 50%, maybe not 50%, but like a large chunk of it is CG, so that's fine.
There's CG going on
there.
Yeah. There's a little bit of CG going on there. But yeah, man, it's a good time, man. That's a great time, and it the way that it builds up to the actual like safe being like pulled out and like bouncing around everywhere and knocking and everything, and then it kind of finalizes on the bridge. Just a really good, well-paced chase sequence. That's you're kind of just like an Uncharted sequence, like a video game Uncharted sequence.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh God. Like wow. I need to take a breath real quick. So yeah, I think it's an easy lock for Fast Five for 8 for me.
Nice.
There's a lot going on in that whole entire movie, and there's a lot of car scenes in that movie. But man, that sequence is just outstanding.
They really did throw in that's my only gripe about that movie. It might lack self-awareness a lot. I mean, but all those movies do. Mm-hmm. But in terms of scenes I didn't really like or that are replaceable is like when they get all the cop cars and they're like, hey, let's race. And I'm like, you're just doing that because you're a Fast and Furious movie trying to remind people what you are. That's all that is. You don't even need that scene. It's a waste of space. But whatever. That's fine because that ending scene just had me... Like every time I saw it like 3 times in theaters. Every time I saw it, it was just like... I was like I wanted to bounce up and down in my chair. If it wouldn't bring so much attention to my dumb ass. Like, it was so exciting to see. It made me giddy. Like, pleased every part. It pleased the child in me, the teen in me, the man in me. It was just awesome. That was weird. Anyway, so JD, what's your number 8?
Man, you had a really intimate Fast Five experience.
I did.
You did, yeah.
With that chase specifically.
Way intimate.
I wish I loved anything as much as you love Fast Five.
It's about family.
It is. Well, ew. Wait. Well,
I don't know.
That
was weird.
Well, okay. This my number 8 is one you guys have talked about already. It's Drive.
Nice.
And kind of like what Kyle said, it really was that first scene that just it made it a necessity on my list because it's not a true chase. It's more the evasion. It's everything you said. What I really, really like is how the guys in the back seat don't say shit either. Like, you see the looks on their face. Like,
they're confused.
Like, they're just like,
do we say something? Or
do we say something here? Like, what's the deal? And then he goes and fucking parks at a LA basketball game. And literally the only moment in that whole scene where he's not cool and calculated is when he first walks out and he has that little, like, socially awkward misstep with the cop that's walking into the garage. And he does, you go this way, you go this way, you go this way. And they have that little moment. And then he just walks off. Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool because he did everything to perfection, leading up like the timing.
It's like he knew that space would be free too at the game parking area or whatever.
Must be nice to get like a 3rd spot in a row in a parking garage.
How the fuck do you do that?
Event, and have an LA hat just ready to go. By the way,
oh, he was prepared for that. He was like, "I'm just gonna blend in with the crowd." That's why he was listening to that game. That's what made it so genius.
He switched from the cop, the police radar to the game.
I love when they didn't even say the model of his car. He knew that they were looking for him, and he just started speeding up. You know what I mean? Kind of sped up and went for some back alleys immediately. Like it wasn't even a second thought. It was just instinctual. It's second nature for him. God damn it! I love that movie. It just makes me want to watch the opening again.
When he's at the street light with the cop on the other side, and it's just okay, I know he can't do anything until I move, but is he going to do anything? Right. And they just have, and it's like 30 seconds. They don't like cut that short. That's how long the light would actually take. Yeah. So it was cool.
You can't say Ryan Gosling has zero chill in that movie because he's chilled the entire movie. It's amazing.
Oh, man.
I mean, crazy. He's obviously looks, flabbergasted when the robbery goes completely like ass backwards. But still, I'm just saying he has the most chill of any character ever in that movie.
For sure.
It's like, is he asleep or? All right, so my number 7, it was much higher for me, and then I kind of had to reassess it, compare it to everything, the legacy of everything else. It's The Dark Knight.
Okay.
I didn't synchronize with anybody? Oh, okay, all right. Damn.
Not quite.
Didn't even make my list.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry.
They got other things I got to talk about.
Hey, got some things going on. How you doing?
Hey, I got other movies I got to talk about.
I love the chase scene in Dark Knight, dude. It does the same thing that Drive does, where it's like, okay, well, now we're at an intense action scene, cut the fucking music. And so, like, you have that truck that pulls up that says laughter, but with an S at the beginning, so it says slaughter.
Yes, so slaughter. Yes.
Yeah. And that's when that's the chase I'm talking about. The entire sequence, the entire tunnel sequence. That's where you
get the bat cycle for the first time.
Exactly. The bat pod jumps out of the exploded Batmobile. Which is fucking amazing. And but yeah, everything up to that though is he keeps shooting the armored car with different weapons. Oh, he's this thing can hold that. It can hold much stronger. And then he pulls out a fucking bazooka. It's so great. It's genius. And then the Batmobile like flies up and catches the rocket from the bazooka, which is awesome. Yeah, I'm just talking that whole sequence because that's a chase, man. I mean, people might not think of it like that because I don't know, it's a Batman movie or something. I don't know. But it's absolutely like it's so fucking good. Chris Nolan literally flipped an 18-wheeler at the end of it. Like it's
pretty good.
Yes.
He's like, dude, I'm just gonna do it for real. Like, how about that?
Yeah,
Everybody
but
cool with that?
why? He's like, because guys. All right.
Because movies. I love all of it, and the ending is a perfect punctuation to that, to the Gordon arc too. How he caught him, he caught you, son of a bitch, and all that stuff.
Yep.
And
he's not dead.
Yeah.
And I love Joker's reaction to seeing Batman. Like when he sees the Batmobile fly by because he knows Harvey Dent's not Batman, or that's when he finds out. And then when Gordon comes up to him at the end with a gun and points at the back of his head, but we don't see Gordon yet. Joker doesn't even give a shit who it is. He just goes, "Can you just give me a minute?" Like he just wants to kill Batman or just mess him up or maim him or something.
Just give me 1 second.
He's just like, "I'll be right with you, sir."
Sir.
Sir, okay, I'm going on break. All right, so that's my number 7. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top. Every time I reassess this movie and reassess my top 10 list, it keeps going higher. So it's up in my top 5. Like I fucking love this movie, dude. And I'm sorry to be predictable, quote unquote, for anybody that has like top 10 lists and they're like, "Oh, Dark Knight, yeah, of course."
Yeah, I mean, I have Rises on mine just to be different, so don't worry about it. I feel your pain.
Oh, it's like born in the darkness.
I like talking about darkness.
I was born in your top 10 list.
Molded by it. So you think it is? What does he say that I always quote? Oh, fuck. I know that Kyle, you quote you think this gives you power?
You think this gives you power? Do you feel it? Do you feel powerful?
I remember every time I have to remind myself, it doesn't matter who we are. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, doesn't matter who we are.
Who are you?
I think in the podcast I was doing when that movie came out, we talked in Bane voice until its death. It may have been the reason why it died, so we have to be careful.
Did you guys see that one podcast from like Plano, Texas?
Yeah, they do all Bane all the time. It's crazy. You can't even understand what they're doing. It's like they put something in front of their mouth so they can't fucking kill them.
I love that they had Doug Benson to do that role briefly in Lego Batman. It's so great.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah,
that's just rude. Like he gets punched for no reason.
Yeah.
It's great. I love that movie. So Kyle, what is your number 7?
Well, after your little Bourne Identity monologue there, I feel like a bicyclist who showed up to a biker party. But because you made a lot of really good points, and I'm like, yeah, fucking Supremacy was like that. It was fucking.
It was chaotic, yeah.
It was chaotic, but that's kind of what I liked about it because guess what? It would be very chaotic to be in that situation.
It would be, yeah.
You are probably seeing exactly what you would be seeing if you were in that in that cabin. And they do enough pulling out where you can get an idea of what's going on. But you're right. It took me a couple watches where I was like, oh, I orchestrated this really well. It's a lot of puzzle pieces to put together, you know?
Yeah, it is.
But it's good, and it's the one that I remember the most because it's the one that enters into the tunnel. It's the tunnel one, right? That's
yeah, it is. Yeah, that's where it ends, I think.
Fucking cool.
It ends up,
that's where it ends up in is the tunnel, and I just really like how again the flow of that car chase is really great, and the lead up to it and everything. And once it starts,
the build up is spectacular.
Once you know, once everyone starts getting in the car, and you're like, oh yeah, here we go. Here's a Bourne chase sequence.
Exactly.
You know? So yeah, I really like that one. But I really liked your explanation of Identity more.
It'd be interesting if both Identity and Supremacy made the brackets. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they have to fight against each other.
Interesting.
I mean, they're both in top lists.
Born v. Born. Dawn of Bornness.
DVD.
All right, JD, what is your number 1? I'm sick of your list.
My number one was Bad Boys 2.
Oh,
that's actually a good one. What's your number 7?
It is a really good one.
And it's probably not too far off from that.
My number 7 is The Brothers of Blues, man. I absolutely love that chase. It's classic. It's practical. I love how chill they are the entire time.
Yes.
And And going back and knowing now, especially, when you're a kid and you watch that movie, you're not thinking about how it's made or anything. You're just kind of focusing on what you see in front of you. But seeing 100 police cars just stacked on top of one another, on top of the ones that are on top of another one at the very end, and knowing they did that shit in real life is.
How many times did they have to shoot that scene, and how many cop cars had to pay for it?
Oh man, so many cop
think
cars.
About that.
Dude.
Even if they just had to shoot it twice, that's like 200 cop cars that are just
that's crazy.
Out of commission.
Cop cars matter, okay?
Yeah, cop cars lives matter.
They really do. But man, I mean, it's a funny movie. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Maybe comedies ever would be more appropriate. But yeah, man, definitely deserved a top spot. And you were watching. Was that first time you'd watched it in a while, Kyle? Before we started recording?
It's the first time I've seen it in about 10 years. Yeah,
okay.
the movie in general. But I was just watching that chase sequence.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched the movie, so I need to go back and watch the whole damn.
The whole movie, it deserves a rewatch, I think.
Totally.
Yeah,
it's one of the better musical comedies that ever exist. Period.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of music in it. People forget that.
Oh, yeah, people do forget that. My 4th grade teacher, her husband was the saxophonist.
Oh wow,
really?
fucking badass!
Totally not kidding. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be like Jim Belushi.
Yeah, no. She was fucking Jim Belushi.
Whoa, that's really awkward to tell your.
I'm now imagining my 4th grade teacher fucking John Belushi, and it's really messing me up right now. So.
Oh, I meant his lesser brother Jim. Sorry for everybody to call John Belushi's brother Jim lesser, but honestly, let's be real. All right, so I feel bad. Anyway, so my number 6 is another one. It's a movie that I remember Italian Job being okay. This movie itself is like okay, but the chase makes the movie. Oh my god, this movie. The chase is so fucking epic. It's Ronin.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, the movie itself, the plot is like, I don't know, especially like watching it now and being just familiar with a lot of these type of storylines of who's betraying who, heist, money, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
It's a lot of familiar beats to it. But yeah, that chase scene though, man, you can't fake that shit. You just can't.
No.
It's literally they just paraded around France, made France their bitch or whatever. Or is it Italy? I think it was France, right?
Yeah, it's France. It's Paris.
Yeah.
And Nice. Paris and Nice.
Yeah, they made Nice. Isn't it Nietzsche?
No. Nice. It's Nice, sorry.
Nice?
Nice.
I thought it was Nietzsche.
Nice.
Hey, Nietzsche, how you doing? Hey, oh. That's Italian, sorry. Anyway, this car chase is awesome. It might be one of the longer ones that we mentioned, besides one that's
7
maybe...
minutes.
Yeah, it's a long one, dude. But it's good, and it keeps going, like places you don't expect it to, instead of just making loops.
Yes.
It's just really awesome. Well choreographed. Whoever did... They better have gotten like some type of stunt award. I don't know what the fuck that means or if it's a thing, but seriously, the people that like choreographed this chase scene and then like did it, they nailed it completely, like to perfection. They deserve all the raises in the world and a humanitarian award just because. Fuck it. So Kyle, what's your number 6?
My number 6, you and I almost synchronized, JD. It's Blues Brothers.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, high up there. It was a little lower on my list, so I watched that and I go, nope. Brought it way up from like number 9. But I really, really, really enjoy this chase sequence, and you kind of touched on it, how like kind of cool they are during it. They're like popping jokes and like. They got their cool ass shades on, and they're looking fucking badass while just taking these turns. Again, this is 1980. You're not faking any of this. It's all whatever you're seeing happened.
Right.
And yeah, to see that many cars just like comically just pile on top of each other as like the big ending to that entire chase sequence, it was perfect. Like it was that's how you end a chase sequence. You don't have to have like. I'm so over like cars exploding, like, oh, I ran into something, so my car exploded. It's like, okay, that fucking doesn't happen. Ronin is a big offender of that, even though that we'll talk about that later maybe. A guy like runs into like a pillar in the bridge and in the tunnel, and Ronin and his car just explodes, and you're like, what is that car made of gunpowder? Like, how the hell did that happen?
Was it MacGruber or something where everything exploded, or what movie was it?
But Blues Brothers, I don't think any car blows up in that. Like you just all the cars just run into each other like they normally would.
I don't think
they don't. Everything doesn't explode at the end. There's not some big mushroom cloud or like comical like ridiculousness. Its ridiculousness comes in like, hey, we're really gonna crash all these cars together and everyone can just get over it.
Right.
And I really enjoy it. It's just it deserves its spot for me. I gotta revisit that movie as a whole.
Yeah, man, that's a good one, man. I might be talking about it later. I don't know yet. JD, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is one you just mentioned, so we weren't too far off. It's The Dark Knight, man.
Dark Knight.
It's Dark
So
Knight.
I'm the asshole that showed up without Dark Knight.
Rachel!
You showed up to the party without a Dark Knight, you son of a bitch.
Why are you coming for me? Sorry. I'm just gonna shout
man, I mean,
quotes.
It's everything you said, man. It's not maybe what people have in mind when it comes to a classic car chase, but I rewatched it maybe a week ago, and I was just as engaged watching it now, probably for the 15th time ever.
Yes, exactly.
During that scene, as I was the first time, even though I know exactly how it ends.
Yeah, never wears out its welcome ever.
The slaughter part was a little tidbit that I always kind of forget as time goes by that's there, because I don't really think about what words are on the side of the truck. But yeah,
Right.
that made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Remembering realizing that. But yeah, the rocket launcher thing is just like, here we go. Great. It's just great.
Yeah, I love that. I love that chase scene, man. Oh my gosh. It's not the chase scene we needed, but it's one that we deserved. Anyway.
Oh, wow. God damn it, Jeff.
Sorry. I apologize.
That movie doesn't hold up. I
Alright.
apologize. No, that I was joking. That I was like, that movie doesn't hold up. You guys are crazy. But yeah, I revisit that movie like once every 6 months, and every single time I watch
know,
it,
me too. I can't
every
if it's
single
on-
time I watch it, I'm like, what the fuck was he doing
Yeah.
when he made this movie? Like, he
Right.
killed it.
I don't know. I don't even give a shit what channel it would be on. Like, it could be on ABC Family or whatever that's called nowadays. Freeform Family, Freeform. Or it can be on HBO. It doesn't matter. If it's on a channel, I'm watching that movie. Like,
Yeah.
if I find it. Yeah, I fucking love that movie so much.
It's one of the oldest iTunes digital movies that I have.
Wow.
And so I've always got it queued up, ready to go. Inglorious non
Rachel!
Sorry. Rachel! Swear to me!
Pick one.
Wrong movie, sorry.
Rachel! Or, sorry. Meatloaf! I want Batman yelling the Will Ferrell rant to his mom in Old School. Or that's Wedding Crashers, sorry.
That's Wedding Crashers. Yeah, he's the Wedding Crashers
Chaz.
god. Chaz, yes.
Been crashing funerals. Oh, my hang gliding. Oh, I'm dead. Sorry. Anyway, my number 5 is one that was already mentioned already. It's Blues Brothers.
Nice.
Number
Almost
5,
nice.
man. Because
Nice.
nothing impresses me more than using as many cars as fucking possible, which another movie does completely, like the entire movie. So we're going to talk about that later. But the Blues Brothers, though, at that time, though, that was like, I mean, it was pretty much like no expense spared type of situation, which is extremely rare for any movie like this, of this genre, musical comedy. I mean, that's crazy. Like, it's not only like one of the funniest chases you'll ever see, with the exception of 21 Jump Street, that's what it is, where every time something runs into something, it explodes or it doesn't explode.
yes.
Yeah, and then like the truck runs into like chickens, like a truck full of chickens, and it explodes. And he's like, "That's the one that exploded." God damn it. Anyway, I appreciate everything you said about the fact that it ended up in just a normal car pileup. But the fact that they did the car pileup for real. I mean, even critics, when they saw the movie, were like, that's overkill. And I watch it now, and I see the humor in it, you know? I mean, it aged really well, and it just feels really epic. And, yeah, there's a ton of humor in the fact that they're just deadpan and they don't give a shit what's going on.
Yep.
Another day at the office for him, you know?
Exactly. Yep. They're just like, all right, whatever. We got something to do. So I love that chase. It's awesome. So, Kyle, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is probably one that's going to be higher on your guys, or I don't know, but it's Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's a little scene in there, if y'all remember, with an 18-wheeler.
Don't remember.
Yeah.
Speaking of 18-wheelers, it's pretty dang cool. I don't know if you guys are privy to it or not. Pretty dang cool. Pretty dang iconic, I would say.
Is this a U.S. movie, or?
It's actually a Chinese movie.
Oh, okay.
And everything is made with Tinker Toys, so it's not even.
Okay.
Nice.
No.
Robot
What
Chicken,
a great
Terminator.
scene. This scene's so iconic, like GTA like rips off of it all the time.
Mhm.
Like I think that scene's like in every GTA where like a fucking 18-wheeler in slow motion goes over a bridge while you're like being chased on a motorcycle or whatever.
Right.
I think that's in every GTA. I'm not sure. It's definitely in San Andreas for sure.
I do it if it's not. I do it all the time.
Yeah, I do it 100% if it's not. I'll get people online and I'll be like, chase me, and I'll go. But it's just a cool scene, man. You know, just a lot going on in that. I don't care how annoying that fucking actor is who plays John Connor.
Edward Furlong, yeah.
He's might be the worst thing to ever happen to Hollywood.
Dude, they cast it mid-puberty, man. That's the classic.
Yeah,
because like you get to American History X and he's actually like somewhat settled into his voice a little bit. It's not that bad.
I'm still like, oh god, why are you in this movie?
Yeah, when I was a 5-year-old watching this movie for like the first time, 5 or 6, I was like, oh, that's a girl, right?
Yeah, right. Me too. Seriously, don't assume it's gender, Jeff. Watch your pronoun.
Well, it's my pronoun. Sorry.
But yeah, it's just it's a great scene, man. It's iconic. I don't have to fucking defend it. It's
No, you
it's
don't.
seen, it's out there and it exists. And go watch it. If you haven't seen it, kill yourself.
You have nothing to live for.
Nothing to live for. Oh, maybe except for watching the movie. That's something to live for. But,
yeah. Oh man, that movie's amazing. That is honestly, that's an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Didn't even make my list.
Wow.
Yeah. It's iconic, though. You're right. It's just I hadn't seen it in a while, and I think I watched it on YouTube. I don't even remember. I don't even remember because I was so wrapped up in these other ones that are in my list, and I was like, oh, man, I don't know if it compares. But it does have that iconic moment of the 18-wheeler. I mean, I don't think any other movie's been able to pull that off, like, practically up until that point. Like, because he totally just did it for real. I mean, with the exception of Dark Knight, who flipped it.
We're going to take this off a bridge real quick.
Yeah, no big deal, and it's just going to land. It's going to be no big deal. So, JD, what's your number 5?
Man, if this was an 11 seed tournament, T2 would have been my number 11. It's that close of an on man. That close, for sure. So I'm glad somebody put it in their list because it definitely deserves to be in the tournament. We're on what, number 5 now?
Yeah.
I put The Supremacy at number 5. Actually, man, I love that. I love that chase scene so much.
All right.
So we weren't too far off on that one, Kyle.
No, not too far.
No, just going back and watching the demise of Carl Urban's character. Spoilers for.
Yeah, unbelievable. Just spoiled that fucking movie.
Sorry, my bad.
13-year-old
Most people
movie.
aren't even gonna know who Carl Urban is.
Carl Urban's in that movie?
Yeah, it's Aomer, man. He just cut his hair and he moved over to fucking Europe or wherever the movie takes
He
place.
should be back defending Gondor. This is, or Rohan, whatever he is.
Rohan. Yeah, Rohan, totally. No, I love the part, and I know the camera work is, as you guys have pointed out, hectic and frantic as shit. But watching him lay down, shift, drive, and brake, and shoot somebody while not looking at either the pedals, the road, or the person that he's shooting is fucking impressive as shit.
A dexterous feat.
I mean, that's absolutely insane. I don't think I could do either of those things he was doing as well if I was giving them 100% of my attention in that scene.
Yeah.
So that won it for me. And then Carl Urban just drives into a little, what is it, a post in the middle of the
he gets
tunnel?
crashed into like a median, basically.
Yeah. So then it becomes a PSA for wearing your fucking seatbelt. But no, it's a great chase scene, and I'll be honest, man, I really wish I had gone back and watched the one from the Bourne Identity because I mean, it's great. But
it's another
I hope we get some
car chase. It's great.
Hope we get some Bourne on Bourne action, man. That would be great if it ends up working out that way.
We'll see. We will see. All right. So my number 4 is a trendsetter. It is the movie that came before French Connection that kind of made me go, maybe French Connection isn't that good. It is, though. It is good. Don't get me wrong. I didn't mean to say that. It's an honorable mention all the way. But anyway, my number 4 is Bullet.
Sweet.
You actually watched it. Nice.
Yeah, dude. It's awesome. It's so cool. I love these movies, man. I'm finding my the niche genre that I love more than anything, and that's the one where it's like 60s to 70s, and it's like cop thrillers or detective neo-noir thrillers / action movies like Dirty Harry. Fucking love that movie. Bullet is a lot of that. The Bonds from that era.
Great. Those
fantastic.
I don't know when Thunderball came out, like Goldfinger and stuff, but that type of stuff. Love that stuff, dude. Apparently that's like my thing now. But
that's what he does. It's Fast Five and Bond. Boom.
But yeah, Bullet, man. Talk about so this movie. I think this is the first movie to try that first person thing, and I can't even wrap my 2017 head around it. This is a 1968 movie, and they did this thing where they put the camera behind the driver. Like it's really really crazy how they did it.
Yeah.
And it's just steady. Like the camera's steady. It's not moving around. It's moving with the car. You know what I mean? So I don't know how the fuck they did that. I have no clue how they did that. But yeah, the chase is really intense. It starts with very very slowly with Bullet being tailed by these hitmen, and he somehow navigates his way so he's chasing them. Which is really fucking smart. He's just a great detective. He's good at his job. That's why, the whatever his name, the attorney or whatever, wanted him. But yeah, the chase, man, it's so good. It's the San Francisco type neighborhood where it's like hills, so they're constantly just doing jumps over hills down a neighborhood. Like picture like the Full House type neighborhood or whatever, where the houses are like on an incline. It's that type of chase, and then they eventually go to a highway, and it ends in an explosion. Sorry for all the anti-explosion people, but it does. But it's worth it. It's logical. It's a gas station, so it makes sense. But it's a fucking great chase scene, dude. Like the fact that this was made in 1968 just makes me go, why the fuck did it take so long to get like good shit now? You know what I mean? Like.
Because that was the first, man.
Yeah, that was the first, but like
that was a trendsetter.
Yeah, but it just makes me question, like, why did it take so fucking long? Like,
because
these are so spread out over decades. It's just crazy to me that we don't have car chase movies all the time now.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I'll get into it in a little bit, maybe.
Oh, okay. So Kyle, you're number 4.
My number 4. We ain't going nowhere because we bad boys for life.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Nice.
Bad Boys 2.
That's awesome.
One of my favorite highway sequences of all time.
It's great, man.
We'll talk about my favorite one later, but this is definitely one of my favorite ones. Talk about a CG fuckfest.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Not a lot of practicality going on here, but you know what? Don't give a shit.
Yeah.
The banter between the two is hilarious. Like, he accidentally shoots like his Lamborghinis or Ferraris like a dashboard or whatever, and they're freaking out about that for half the chase sequence.
Right.
Whenever the guy is like releases all the cars from like the tow truck or whatever, or the big the multi-car tow truck, and then the cars are just spilling onto the highway, and you have that great scene where one just flips over the Ferrari, like just barely misses them, and Will Smith has to like bend out of the way so he doesn't get hit by it. Very stupid, but like it's cool. The whole thing just oozes coolness, and man, I can only imagine how much that scene costed to make in terms of like just how much CG they use and like practical effects as well, which were little, but they really drove somewhere with that car. So
totally.
Really cool scene, man. Just a lot, man. There's just so many cars. The boat, like when the boat, the yacht gets knocked off like its thing or whatever, and it's just ridiculous. The whole entire scene's ridiculous. Urge everybody to go back and take a look at it if you don't remember the Bad Boys thing. Yeah. They have another cool scene in that movie too, where they're careening down like the village hill in the Hummer, which is so ridiculous. The shanty town is just like breaking through all. Like, how many people died during that scene?
Oh yeah.
Really cool. And that movie you think ends when like you're like, oh, the movie's wrapping up. No, there's a whole Cuba scene. Let's go to Cuba. Waste another 30 minutes there. The movie just never ends. I'm kind of excited for the third movie too coming out. Really excited even. Movies are just like a guilty pleasure for me.
Michael Bay is one person I would have no qualms about going up to his face and telling him to go fuck himself and tell his wife she should feel bad for being married to him.
Yeah.
Because he's just a bad. I fucking hate his movies in terms of like storytelling wise. But dude is good with action. The dude knows action. Bad Boys 2 is I rewatched that on YouTube because I just wasn't in the mood to watch the whole Michael Bay-isms of the entire movies. For Bad Boys 1 and 2. So I watched just the YouTube stuff on Bad Boys 2, and I was super impressed by that highway chase scene. There was so much going on in that, and he choreographed it really well to us, so it was comprehensible. Whereas I don't know that he cares so much about comprehensibility in terms of his filmmaking nowadays.
No,
especially with Transformers. You can't tell what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, just put a mechanical thing that's moving over there, finding another mechanical moving thing, and it'll look fine. What? No, it just looks like gears moving on top of each other. I have no idea what's going on.
There's no discernible color there. What the fuck is happening in your movies, dude? Anyway, so JD, what's your number 4? Bad Boys 2 is a great choice, so that's an honorable mention. Okay, so JD, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is one we've discussed. It's Ronin, man.
Oh, fucking nice.
Yeah, I had to get it some love, especially after reading up on it. I think it was like my number 5 or 6 going into yesterday. But I had to bump it up.
I feel really bummed that I don't have much to contribute regarding the history of these. So
man, I was super impressed realizing that they had 300 stunt drivers they hired to make that final scene.
Okay, then it makes sense.
Drivers.
It's starting to come together. Like it's not just one person's brain; it's 300.
Yeah.
People.
And are you familiar with? I'm not, but just in reading, are you familiar with the old it's like I think 1966 movie called Grand Prix?
I'm not. No, I'm not familiar with that.
Somebody that was involved in the creative process of Ronin was also very involved with Grand Prix, and so they just took that knowledge of that filmmaking and just lumped it right on to Ronin. Wow. And knowing that actually most of the actors were in the car during a lot of the driving.
Wow, that's fucking ballsy. Not De Niro, I imagine.
No, well, I imagine not. But De Niro, I wish we were in person right now so that you could do your De Niro face, because like he's doing the De Niro face while he's driving, and it's fucking ridiculous. Because it's like he's just working in and out, and it's like, and he's just doing the.
Stop squinting! You're gonna crash. You know?
Exactly.
I can't see. But I can't see, fucker.
Mostly practical, and they actually get to high speed. I mean, 120 miles an hour. My car that I'm driving right now doesn't even have 120 on the fucking speedometer. That's fucking insane to me that a movie would actually risk that kind of thing for that.
Yeah. I think I assume that the director knew that there wasn't much there story-wise.
I'll have to agree that I'm really glad I didn't have to go back and watch the whole thing again.
Yeah.
Because it's not my favorite movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just like you said, once you've seen 5, 10, 20 caper heist films, you kind of get the gist of it.
Yeah. I was like, no, backstabbing. I didn't see that coming. Man,
I really like that movie. I think that's not that movie's fault that there's that many.
No, it's our fault. We're too educated. Yeah.
Spoiled.
The movie came out in 1998, so it was,
Sure. But man, I absolutely loved going back and revisiting the chase scene and doing some research on it, because that's impressive as shit, man. 300 stunt drivers actually getting to 120 miles an hour, and you just don't see that on a production level out of any of these modern movies. So, and it was all practical, very, very little CGI, even though the director admitted after the fact that he knew that those tools were available to him. Didn't care.
Did not care. Wow, what a badass stuff, man. Got to give him some credit. I got to look up this director, because I'm pretty sure he or she is not somebody that's actively doing things.
He's got a name that's very difficult to pronounce.
John Frankenheimer. Oh man, this dude actually died in 2002. He did Grand Prix. That's okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense. All right, I didn't know that you meant the same director. I thought it was.
No, yeah, he directed Grand Prix, man.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the whole stunt crew was from Grand Prix.
Oh no, the man.
Oh wow, he ended things unfortunately on Reindeer Games. I didn't hear good things about that movie. I can't even remember it, honestly. I'm pretty sure I saw it though. I remember that's what Tony Stark called Loki, and I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get that too. I was like, is he calling Ben Affleck? I'm very confused by this.
I still don't get it. So
the antlers.
Yeah, because he's got the horns. Reindeer Games.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that's the only. It's not even that smart. Yeah, that's the only layer to it.
The other Tony Stark quips, it's like number 37 on the top 50.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like that's real low ranking on the quip list. So.
Coming soon to Entertournament Champions podcast, Tony Stark quips.
Oh, right. Let's do it.
Yeah, please, can we?
We're definitely gonna come to movie quotes at some point. I don't know whether we should split it up into drama or comedy.
Get some kiss, kiss, bang, bang goodness in there. Oh man.
God damn.
No, he'd be a fucking idiot, which you fucking are. Or no, that's what it is. Look up the definition of idiot in the dictionary.
It's going to be a picture, and then what is it? Is it going to be a picture of me? No, it's going to be a definition of idiot, which you fucking are.
Oh, it's great. Val Kilmer, man. Oh, fat Val Kilmer.
That's
doing good
my
work.
favorite Val Kilmer role ever.
Really? Not even... Yeah. I love Dieter von Kuntz.
Oh, man, that doesn't count. Yeah, of course. He's great in that movie. Yeah, he's so good.
He commits, and it's amazing.
He committed hard to the bit, and I love that.
I think my favorite might be as the Sherpa in Entourage, where he's just like that super fucking out mountain dude.
Yeah, that was super early, man. I can't believe you remember that.
Oh, man, yeah, that's like first, dude. I mean, I'm not happy about this, but I fucking broed out hard to Entourage. That was on
I
when
did
I was
too, man. Big time.
Everybody on this podcast
Like,
watched Entourage.
okay, good. I'm glad I'm with family because it's all about.
Yeah, you with family.
Yeah. No, dude, when I watched, like, there was an honest trailer on Entourage, and I was like, oh my god, is it really that, like, cyclical? Like, everything is so predictable. I felt like it made me feel bad for watching the show.
I don't get.
I don't know, man. When I was that age, when I was the age that it kept airing and stuff, I was really into it, even though,
Me too.
you know, it was a lot of
Johnny
similar stuff.
Drama! Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
He didn't get the job. Hey, I got the job. Hey, I didn't get the job. I got the job. That's every...
It's a light job on, job off. Job on, job off.
Exactly.
On, off. And Lloyd comes around and gets sexually harassed for an entire...
Lloyd!
Yeah, Ari and Lloyd, man. Bros for life.
Oh my god.
I swear to God, I watched this movie at the Oak Cliff Film Festival called Lemon with Brett Gelman. Sorry, not Gelman. Fuck that up. Brett Gelman, who's hilarious. He did the other guys. He was Chris Steth. You get my wife's name right. I love that.
About him.
I love that role. He was there, presented it with his wife, who directed it. She's got a bright future. Regardless, anyway, there's a part in the movie where he's dating Nia Long, I think, and they're on a date at an Asian restaurant, and fucking actor who plays Lloyd comes up as the waiter, and everybody just laughs immediately. They're like, oh, it's that guy. Like, they just immediately start laughing. You gotta have a hell of a comedic presence to just be, like, to just have that face, and then people laugh. It's great. Anyway, so we're in our top 3 right now, and my number 3, this was incredibly difficult. This top 3, I'm gonna tell you. Matrix Reloaded is my number 3. Anybody? No? Damn.
No.
All right. We're not going to synchronize at all, maybe except for one.
We're going to synchronize on one, I promise.
Matrix Reloaded, though, there's a lot of CG in this one. I'm not going to lie. Like, I watched so many behind the scenes on this chase.
Me too.
How they just plugged in cars whenever... I mean, obviously, you're not going to have your stunt driver go into oncoming traffic completely, like 100%. The one who played Trinity on the bike with the Keymaker. Right. They had a stunt driver for that, and she just pretended she was weaving in between cars. There were a few cars.
There were cars. Yeah, there were cars.
But they plugged in at least 2 or 3 extras every now and then.
Yeah.
Just to, you know, make it seem like... And you can kind of... With 2017 Blu-ray, whatever, HD, 4K, whatever, you can kind of see it a little bit.
Yeah, the cars that are put in don't have drivers, so...
That's true. Oh, wow. That's a big miss.
That's pretty bad.
But they didn't anticipate
it's so
technology.
Far away, you can't tell, though. Like, it's so... Yeah, it's so
it's
far
not
away.
The thing
like,
I look at. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you can't tell, and not until I think you were about to say this. Not until Blu-ray could you even really tell.
And I'm sure the Wachowskis weren't like, "Oh, this will be perfect in UHD or whatever." Like, no, they don't think of that shit. But I love this chase scene, dude. Like, this was something that was hyped before the movie came out. This was something I followed because The Matrix is like my favorite movie of all time. So. This was something that Joel Silver came out, accepted the best movie award for that year at the MTV Movie Awards. Remember when that was still popular? And or at least I still watched it. And he came out and he was like, just wait for the sequels. And I remember flipping out because he said sequels, not one. He said sequels. And I flipped my fucking lid. And I was on all these forums and fan pages just following all these rumors and maybe leaks and stuff. And the one thing that got leaked very early on, because you couldn't keep it secret, was the fact that the Wachowskis built a highway in Australia.
What is it, a quarter mile or something like that? It was like
they just kept going back and forth, right? And I think they filmed for... That was probably the longest thing they filmed, I would imagine, because they had to keep going back and forth, and everything is just so like tightly knit in terms of like where a car turns and when it does. Like, every stunt driver has its own job to do at a certain point. Man, there's so many moving parts in this fucking scene. I don't know why it's number 3.
Well, it's really like 4 different chase scenes kind of mashed together.
It is,
yeah.
At least there's 4 different moments mashed together because, you know, you have the agents going from car to car looking for the key maker. You have the ghost chasing whoever happens to be in front of them. I love the agent, even though people will shit on the CG now. the agent jumping from one hood of a
That's
car
my
to
favorite
another.
part.
Yeah.
And he uses it as a trampoline and jumps to another fucking hood.
I write
awesome.
fiction, man, and I gotta say that something like that always happens in every one of my like action sequences, where a guy gets like out of a car and like jump, like just like you're saying, you know. I think that scene is fucking awesome. I don't care how bad it looks.
Yeah,
Right.
It's the fact that he used the hood
At
as like
the
another
time,
trampoline.
it was amazing.
Basically, it was amazing.
And they're all going like 80 miles per hour. It's just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like just thinking about it, like wow, it couldn't happen in real life, but it's the Matrix, so whatever.
Right. And I just remember being super hyped for the highway sequence, and then when going into it, there's all this buzz around it in terms of, it's coming, like Morpheus, Trinity. Excuse me, I burped as I was talking.
Hey, Rick or Morty.
Morpheus and Trinity are talking in the car, and Trinity was like, "You said we'd never go on the highway." Yes, I did. You said that would be suicide.
Suicide.
Let us hope that I was wrong.
That's how you set up a scene.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's how you set up a scene. And it's 14. I remember timing this shit. It's 14
it's
minutes.
insane.
It's
There's
awesome.
a scene where they're hanging out of the car shooting like fucking machine guns at each other.
Yeah.
Like, and there's so much going on in the scene. And I really like it whenever Morpheus gets out of the car and dons the katana and the fully automatic Glock and just cuts that
Yes.
Yeah, he
Oh
cuts
my
it and
God.
starts
It's my
shooting its engine.
favorite part of that
And then the
entire
Ghost
scene.
Brothers are like when they're flying up at the explosion.
Trying
Oh
to
my
save
God.
themselves from the explosion.
That
So
music that's
cool.
going on too, as his trench coat's flapping in the
Dude.
wind as he's doing a 360-degree spin against that. Oh, it's so
The
cool.
score couldn't be like I remember being obsessed with the Matrix Reloaded score, especially
good,
the first Matrix. But yeah, the Matrix Reloaded score. I listened to that highway scene so many fucking times. Yeah, it was like it sounded like Darude, but you know what I mean. It had its own thing going on, and Don Davis collaborated with somebody for that, like some type of electronic musician, and it just totally blended super well. Like it had its own theme. Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. That was so fucking good, man. And the you had like the little conga, like whatever you would fucking call those bongos or whatever. It's so cool.
Oh, yeah. So good.
God damn it! I want to save. Oh man, I'm gonna have to save. This is gonna be really tough because I love this scene. I have to save what I'm going to say about it so you guys can talk about it and for the brackets too. So Kyle, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Ronin. I just watched this scene. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. Just watched the scene. Really, really, really good scene. Just great chase sequence, man.
Yeah.
There is a scene where one of the cars like spin out, like someone gets shot and one of the cars spin out in the tunnel, and the car that De Niro's driving just barely gets around it without slowing down. It's practical. Like it's that's happened.
It's a real driver doing that. Yeah.
So good, like wow, I would have spun out and just impaled myself on that corner. That's
Right.
how I would have handled that situation. Just a lot of really good practicality. You were saying in Bullet they situate the camera behind the driver. They do that in Ronin also, where it's like the camera person, just the backseat person, and so you see Leon the professional and forget his name. I don't know why.
Jean Reno, right?
Yeah.
John Reno, thank you. I love that guy. I don't know why I just skipped my mind there. And Robert De Niro just sitting there. So you see both their shoulders and the back of their heads and the front of the car. And it's such a well-shot scene because, like, man, it puts you in there, but not in a chaotic way like Bourne Supremacy. Like, you're there, and it just feels like you're a passenger in the seat there for a moment.
That's what I loved about Bullet. Bullet was 30 years before Ronin and was doing that.
Yeah.
And it was a steady cam.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
you're in it, dude. That's just unbelievable filmmaking, dude. I still don't understand. 1998 doesn't fucking matter what year it is. I don't understand how they did that. At all.
Pretty
And I
crazy.
want to do this. Like, I want to make movies. I don't get it, like, at all. I can't wrap my head around it.
But yeah, that's not much more I can say about Ronin that hasn't been said already. It's just really, really, really well done practical chase sequence that is. I mean, everyone. Whenever you're talking about chase sequences, it's a movie that automatically comes up. It seems like that's the one on the tip of everyone's tongue. So
always top 3, like fucking always. Yeah. JD, what's your number 3?
Man, I put that little Bullet movie in my top 3, man. That's
fucking awesome.
That was another one that I did some research on, and my dad gave me a little bit of history on that. And it wasn't quite as many as I thought when you and I were talking earlier, Jeff, but they ruined 4 motherfucking Mustangs during the course of that chase scene. Just ruined them. And actually, he told me when I got home from work, he was telling me another story that apparently one day Steve McQueen just took one of them, like was just driving it around in his personal life. And the stunt guy fucking found out about it, was like whatever the 1960s equivalent of blowing up somebody's wife is over the phone, trying to get him to get back. But he was just fucking joyriding in this car.
Oh my God.
So I don't know, man. There's a lot of nostalgia there for sure, and the fact that Steve McQueen is very iconic. But we would not, at least not in the same way, I don't think, be having this topic of discussion if not for that movie.
Yeah,
because it changed how car chase scenes were perceived and how they were done. And like you said, if they're still using elements from that in a movie that was made in 1998, then I mean it's absolutely worthy of a top spot just based on the impact that it had. Right. And it's exhilarating, man. It's a fun chase scene for a movie that old. Oh my God, I can't wait to go rewatch the movie because it's been a long
good, man.
time.
It's one of the rare. I'm obsessed with musical scores too, but it's one of the rare musical scores where it's just jazz all the way through, or like like Bond type of jazz all the way through.
Yes.
You know, the muted trumpet and all that stuff.
Right.
And it's so cool, man. It's just a smooth fucking movie. And Steve McQueen is the epitome of smooth. Like he's just. Yeah. Chill. Ryan Gosling stole that shit from him. Like that's
true. That's absolutely true.
That's the driver.
Just added the toothpick
completely. Exactly. It's a good movie, man. I love the ending too. I love it whenever a character at the end of a movie is like kind of compromised a little bit, at least in their own ideals. Because Dirty Harry does that, you know. And so I mean, like I said, like movies of this era with this genre. Yeah, apparently they just speak to me more than anything. It's just crazy. I didn't expect that. It's awesome though. I love those older movies. I hate it when I bring it up to like people I expect to have watched it. Like I brought it up to my dad. I was like, "There's no way he missed this movie," and he's like, "What the fuck's Bullet?"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, when I told my dad we were doing the car chase thing, he's like, "Better put Bullet on the list." I'm like, "Yes, sir."
Yes, sir.
You know what you're talking about. I'm with you.
So my number 2, I don't know. I think it's not going to be represented at all, and this will shock a lot of people. But it's the Raid 2.
Okay.
I don't think JD's
gigantic oversight on my part.
Oh, okay.
I love that sequence.
Yeah,
Fuck.
me too, man. I don't think JD's seen. You still haven't seen a Raid
no,
movie, right?
Still have not seen it. No, but I'm going to work on it. I promise.
Oh, okay.
I swear.
I mean, it's worth even for this podcast. It's worth seeing both movies for context because they're like the best action movies you'll ever see.
Yeah, the Raid and Raid 2 are the great. And if you haven't seen those movies, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Sorry, I apologize, Kyle. I apologize. I've already bought the I'm sorry card. I'm sorry.
All right, that's fine.
Sorry, I'm sending it.
So for context, this is after I forget his name. His fake name was like Yama or Yama, something like that.
Yo Ma.
So the main character, our main protagonist, was kidnapped, and he's in the car, and he gets a call from the guy who's a former undercover cop that comes after him. That's a spoiler on the movie, but you're not gonna fucking remember this. Anyways, it's a fine detail.
There's no way you remember that.
Yeah. But this dude comes up to come after him to help him out. And he calls his phone. I mean, that's really basically the start of the scene. Is this dude coming after him to help him? Calls his phone to let him know, hey, I'm behind you. He doesn't even need to answer. He just sees who's calling, and he just starts beating the shit out of people in the back seat with him. It's so awesome. There's not only a car chase going on. There's a fucking fight scene going on in a fucking SUV. It's crazy.
Nice.
It's so cool. But it has one of the best directing moments in any action scene happen in this specific scene. It's when in the one car you have the main guy fighting people in the car still. He's trying not to kill him because code him on or whatever. But he's fighting them, and the camera moves out of that car and like kind of rolls down the street and goes into the other car of the dude that's chasing him. Like it happened for real. Like you can watch behind the scenes of like 6 people handing the camera off to each other, like using like a skateboard or some shit. Like they did it for real. I'd never seen anything like that. It's just like one take, and they just do it. And I'd never seen anything like that in my life. It's
so upset that I forgot about this movie.
Oh. That's like your favorite action movie too.
Can't even express how mad I am right now.
It's a different story if you forget it. If you forget it in the action movies, one that we're inevitably gonna do, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. Number 1. Let's just call it right now.
Let's just call it right now. It's an apology, and it's just true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I envy you so much, Shady, that you're going to get to watch these movies for the first time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like,
and I'm
with
excited.
the amount of knowledge that you have about movies and stuff like that. Like, when I watched the first raid, I'm like, oh, yeah, action. And that movie's really not that old, but, like, my appreciation has really grown for, like, certain how things are shot and cinematography and stuff like that. And the second movie is an ode to beautiful action filmmaking. Yeah, it's an ode to it.
That's exactly how Jeff has sold it to me. Right. So I can't wait. And it's going to be mandatory for a lot of episodes later on down the road. So.
It will be, yeah. It's going to come up a lot as we get into specific.
I'm just going to do it. I'm going to have a raid weekend. I'm going to do it.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Oh, man, hell yeah. It's worth literally just buying it on demand somewhere so you can just watch it whenever you want to. Because that's sometimes the mood just strikes me. I watch it like maybe twice or 3 times a year. It just hits me. I'm just like, I have to watch this movie right now.
And I'll even watch it dubbed. I don't care. I'm crazy like that.
Imagine if Kubrick did a fucking action movie, because it feels
really
like that.
Comparison.
It really does feel like that at points. I mean, they steal the song, not steal because it's a popular song, but popular classic song, I should say. They steal a song from Barry Lyndon that's like da 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 da. da. They put it at the end of a fight, and it's like a tragic moment and stuff. But he did that on purpose to be like Kubrick's my hero, and it's in the snow too, so there's a bit of The Shining there. So I mean, there's so much Kubrick elements in this movie.
Cool.
But obviously it's more fast paced because the action is just in your fucking face when it happens.
Yeah,
the slow paced moments are there, like the camera focusing on somebody and you having to take in all the colors and stuff. God damn it, this movie's amazing. Anyway. Super biased there because that is in my top 10 too, of all time. But Kyle, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Matrix Reloaded, the second Matrix movie.
We synchronized! Oh my god! Oh my god!
We have
play the music, Jeff.
Number 1. Oh my god!
What a great fucking sequence.
God,
14 minutes? You're blowing my mind that it took that was that long. I don't remember it being that long. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I really love this sequence, man. And you want to talk about like doing like kung fu fighting like in a car like we were talking about in the raid? That happens in this movie where like one of the goats like gets into Morpheus' Trinity's car and Trinity is like protecting Morpheus as like she's driving and like blocking hits, hitting her faces like that while she's driving. So it's just a really fucking cool sequence while the agents are chasing them outside of the car.
Let's not forget, the agents find out about it and they're changing into people, other drivers and stuff.
Yep.
Right. But let's not forget about the fact that the ghost like put the keymaker in front of him to use him to block. Like a gunshot from Morpheus. That was just genius. Like,
it was so good. Yeah, and like he puts his gun behind to like point the gun at him, and then it gets wrapped up in a seatbelt.
The seatbelt, yes.
Morpheus
so
grabs
awesome.
his sword and stabs it through the seat, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck? Like,
and that's literally like 30, not even 30 seconds of that, because he just phases right out of that car and says, "Fuck this."
And that's it. Right. That's all. And he's like, that didn't work. Cool sequence though, and I brought up the sequence earlier when he had his sword out and he's slicing down the SUV. But at the same time,
that's a standout moment for me, man.
So good. I love the imagery of it where he's just like, and it plays that music and
big epic music there.
He's making a swooping motion with his sword, just showing off all the guns out, and that's trailing behind the sword as he begins to lay down the fire. And at the same time, Trinity and the Keymaker are jumping off the bridge and onto like the motorcycle truck or whatever.
Yeah, the Ducatis and shit. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. And then the fight on top of the semis.
Funny moments too, like
and the agent.
You can't forget about the ghost going, "We're getting very agitated." Yes, we are.
And yes, we are.
And then the Keymaker giving Trinity a key instead of asking for a download.
For the bike. Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah. Great stuff. He proved his worth when they were coming to fucking delete the guy.
Right.
Yeah. redeeming moment. He still has
It was
that.
really cool. Yeah, and I like the fight on top of the 18-wheeler where
that was so nonsensical, but I love it.
So cool.
It was ridiculous.
It's so
awesome.
cool, and he falls off the side and grabs onto his katana and then hoists himself back up. It's just so ridiculous. And then how it ends
with Neo flying and catching them.
Yeah. Oh, what? Talk about explosive endings, you know?
Yeah, I thought it was incredibly genius to have the two 18-wheelers crash into each other. Because, I mean, it just makes sense. Like, of course that's what they would do. The agents have no... they don't really have any, like, investment in the people that they're taking over. Of course, they're just going to kill the drivers and... and Morpheus and the Keymaker along the way. And when that scene finally cuts to Link going, yes! And that's us in theater. That was just such a great moment. That's when the 14 minutes like ends. Like that's when people timed it. Holy shit.
When he says yes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When it cuts away immediately and Neo catches them. After Neo catches them. Oh my god.
It's one of the greatest scenes of all time.
Can't even take a breath even thinking about it. Like seriously.
Yeah, and in a movie filled with amazing action moments.
Yes.
Like that's one of the greatest action movies of all time.
That's right after one of my favorite fights from the Matrix trilogy. It's right after Neo fights all the Merovingian's people.
Well, and you can feel however sort of way you want to about the Matrix Reloaded and its story and all that stuff, but like it is one of the greatest action movies of all time. There's so many amazing moments, the Merovingians, battle and stuff like that, where they're peeling weapons off the wall and just going to town on each other. So good.
Yep.
And I like the Agent Smith fight. People can fuck themselves. I don't care.
Yeah, I know. It looks CG or whatever, but I'm still in awe of it.
Yeah. And when he brings out that that pole or whatever, and just
like
starts whacking
pole.
people.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah,
it's so good.
And I like the casual fight that he had with the agents early on in the movie. It was very short.
Upgrades.
Yeah, it was very short, but you can tell that it was just like a casual fight. Like he was just blocking them just enough. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like he didn't really need to exert any more effort into that fight, which was awesome. Yeah. That's how far he's come.
I like the fight with him and Seraph also. You do not truly know someone until you fight them.
Yeah.
You could have just asked.
Yes.
One position opens a lock. Another position opens one of these doors. Sorry, that's racist. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we're at number one. Can we say synchronized, or did JD end up choosing some fucking Gone in 60 Seconds bullshit?
He's like Flintstones, Viva Las Vegas.
Look, I think you can summarize my number one pick with "you fucked up your Ferrari, man." No, fuck no, it's fucking Mad Max.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Mad Max, all
good.
three of us.
The whole movie is a chase. I mean, how could it not be number one?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't wait to go back and rewatch it because it's been like maybe 6 months or so.
All right. So synchronized. It's just we could do it this way. What's your favorite part of it's filled with multiple different sequences, even though it's kind of one long chase scene or one long chase moment. But like, what's your favorite moment? Like, is it the end when like the Circus Soleil people are taking people, or is it like the beginning? Like what's for you two? Like, what's the ultimate moment?
Oh man. If we're talking in the context of an actual chase, like the part of the chase,
a sequence.
Because my favorite moment is when with Furiosa and Mad Max have like the little battle, and Mad Max is still chained to the guy, but that's off. Yeah. That's after the chase.
It's still in the chase. Yeah.
I think even though it's the least practical moment in the movie, the sandstorm, I think that's just incredible visually.
My favorite part too.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like if we're talking the chase itself, I think when they were approaching it, and then when they go through it, and you can still tell what's going on. It's just colorful. Like I just love the color of it. That's the thing. I saw this not that long ago in theaters when they did the black and chrome edition, and it just didn't. It didn't. I still was like at the edge of my seat for the action sequences because that's how good they are. But at the end of the day, I was still like, man, I missed the color of this scene or that scene.
Yeah.
And I also love the way, what's his name? Immortan Joe. I love the way he was killed. Like the way that she just like ripped his mask off or whatever. That was fucking gross. It was awesome.
Yes.
But that was during the chase. So it was awesome. And I love the dudes that are swinging from the car.
Yeah,
the swinging from poles attached to cars, and they're trying to jump on the truck. That was all
Fuck, I'm
like all of
rewatching this
everything
tonight.
you see vehicle wise is real. That's why this
they did
movie
that.
is number one for me, at least. Is that everything you see is happening? The color is the only thing that changed in post production. That's about it. Everything else they built the cars. They hired people to
exploded
drive
them.
them. They did all that crazy shit with the poles. They had a dude with a fucking guitar.
Yes.
That's real.
Yes.
Yeah, that all real. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say is actually probably my highlight is that whole war approach thing. And you realize, like, I don't know if I realized it the first time through or if it was on the second watch when, like, well, no, it was definitely the first time through. You're watching the guy that's playing the soundtrack to the entire fucking battle right there, and you barely see him compared to everything else, but he still makes that big of an impact. He's got a fucking double-necked guitar, and one of them shoots flames. One of them shoots flames. Are you kidding me? Like.
And he's like on a bungee cord, so he can.
He's on like 4 bungee cords, man. he's really strapped in there. That's some major Cirque du Soleil shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when I realized, like, dude, we're in for some epic shit here.
Yeah.
The Sandstorm,
that war party part was awesome, man.
Sandstorm,
where they're kind of building up.
Yeah.
I get thinking
the entire movie is so good, and I love the ending too because the score really accentuates it, and the slow motion of it is awesome when they crash into is it Gastown? Is that the name of it, or is that the video game I'm thinking of? Whatever. Either way, it's when they crash in, the entire just war party and the big-ass truck just crashes through the gates like, fuck it. You know what I mean? And it's slow motion. It's just beautiful to look at. So really, the punctuation of it is like one of the best parts, most gratifying, too.
Yeah? Oh, yeah.
God damn it, George Miller. Man.
Better make 7 more of these before you die.
Seriously, please.
7 more, at least.
7 at least, yeah.
Because you know what? The movies before this were not all that inferior to Fury Road. They're not.
No.
I mean,
no, not
the
at
third
all.
one's
They're
silly
really good.
because of Tina Turner and all that bullshit, and the kids. Don't put kids in your movies, people.
I think you could have justified.
Can we make a pact right now to if no more kids in movies, like ever.
Not even allowed to have children. Your protagonist.
Not even allowed to have
Never.
children. Like every
Unless
movie
they're
takes place in
dying.
a dystopian future where kids don't exist anymore.
Have you
It's
seen
children of
Midnight
men.
Special, Kyle?
I have, yeah.
Oh man,
I love that
I
movie.
think that's an exception to the rule.
Yeah.
There are plenty exceptions to the
Yes,
rule.
there absolutely
But
are.
by and large, yes. If you have an idea for a child
For
in
the
a
sake
movie,
of
it's
hyperbole and comedy, we're gonna say every kid ever. Stop
Every kid ever, you're useless. E.T.
Home Alone. I mean,
terrible.
fuck that.
The T in E.T. stands for terrible because that fucking kid. All right, so
fucking kid. Elliot, he wanted to kill you. He's trying to give you space alien AIDS. That's why his finger was glowing. That's why you got all sick and shit at the end of the movie.
remember the Family Guy bit where they blended E.T. and Philadelphia together?
Yes.
And E.T. like lit up his finger and he was like, he said whatever the fuck he says in E.T. and Tom Hanks was like, you didn't even touch me. And E.T. goes in perfect English, yeah, I don't want AIDS.
Oh my god.
It's
I
so
forgot.
fucked up.
Oh my god.
All right, so in terms of the bracket, I do have Mad Max 1 and Matrix Reloaded 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where we get, everything else kind of a crapshoot from here, but we do have a lot of similar picks.
Alright.
So I think mutually next highest is Ronin, so I could put that at 3.
Okay.
Let me put that at 3. Oh, I already did. Okay, never mind. I already saw that coming. So the next highest for all of us,
Bullet?
I guess is Bullet and Blues
Bullet,
Brothers.
You Bullet them,
Oh,
Blues
yeah.
Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I'm just gonna
make
over
this
here
list
and
right
talk
over
to,
here.
I'm just gonna go talk to Jodie Foster about relativity.
Oh yeah, you watched Contact recently.
Yeah, I
right?
did.
I've
Yeah.
never seen
Dude,
that movie.
I remember liking it as a kid, but
Dude, it's
definitely was I was not of an intellectual mindset. to be
No,
able
by
to
the end of it,
appreciate-
I was like, so did it fucking happen or
Is it
not?
a pretty smart movie?
Yes,
Dude, it's like
Yeah.
it's got Sagan's leftovers just dripping all over it, man.
Yeah,
Oh, wow, I'll have
it's
to
a
check it
Carl
out.
Sagan novel. Like,
You know what? I never watched it, and I'm gonna be really petty right now because South Park made fun of it. So like,
Oh.
that episode,
Don't even
I was
remember
like,
that.
I go that movie must suck. Then South Park wouldn't just make fun of something, and then I'm like, oh well, they hate the new Star Wars, so maybe they would.
It's very heavy in Jodie Foster accent, which can be a little
Foster.
Yeah,
I just
it's a
want to
little
go
bit
up there
crazy.
and try to talk to them. And Matthew McConaughey is like, hey, you want to go up there and come back here? Everybody's older. Like,
the thing that they use in that movie, like the device, is one of my favorite like tinfoil hat like conspiracy theory type things or whatever. That near field communication device, whatever they're using in that movie. I'm like, oh yeah, I know all about that.
Yeah, you'll love the.
Write a couple articles about that.
You'll love all the philosophizing in the movie because it doesn't. I mean, it just caters to people that are meant to think about things more. And the dialogue might be a little bit on the nose in terms of religion versus science, because there's a part where like they're deciding on who gets to go into that machine that you're talking about. And part of the whole debate, Matthew McConaughey is a man of faith, and Jodie Foster's woman of science. And yet they're love interests. Whatever. I don't believe that shit. You don't get along if you're that different. Sorry. Anyway. But he's Matthew McConaughey, though, so he's like, all right. And she's like, all right, I'm just going to grow out my panties real quick. Anyway, the dialogue's pretty on the nose. Like, he's like, I couldn't let you in that machine if you don't believe in God. You need somebody that represents 95% of America. And it's it's just on the nose. But at the same time, think of 1997. People weren't talking about that as much, I don't think. Social media has kind of broadened the scope of that conversation, I think.
Yeah, right.
Whereas 1997, you kind of need a movie to talk to you about science and religion.
Right.
And it's not even that big of a part of a movie. It's just in there. And it's something a kid me did not understand at all. But now I'm watching it back going, man, this movie's really fucking good. Like, it's so good. Oh, man.
I have to check it out.
We're gonna do 97 movies. It's a 20-year-old movie. We're going to do 97 movies on this podcast.
So I'll have to...
Yeah, you have to watch it anyway.
Oh, good. I can't wait for its big chase sequence. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's got a huge chase sequence when she goes in the machine and then somebody has to run after the ball. It's a foot chase, but it still counts. I'm kidding. It doesn't happen. Anyway, so number 5 ended up being Blues Brothers because that's a commonality. Now that we've kind of satisfied our top 5, we should probably choose ones from our top 5 that aren't in here yet, and I have like Raid 2 highest.
Put Raid 2 because that would be like number 3 for me.
Okay, awesome. Raid 2 is 6, which is still good placement. Cool. And I'm trying to look at who else. Kyle's the one that had the ones that we didn't have, like Bad Boys 2 could go next. I'd be okay with that because it's a great chase scene.
For sure.
If we're talking 5s, though, we have Bourne Supremacy is a commonality, so we should probably go with that next and then Terminator 2.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Oh, well, then we have our first matchup. All right. Shit. All right. Bourne Supremacy versus the completely practical and realistic Terminator 2.
Totally.
Yeah, my favorite thing was that all happened in real life. So.
Yep. It's just a History Channel documentary.
Well, they actually just took it from the chopper cams that were shooting it that day. So.
Right.
Oh, interesting. I need to read up on that one.
Yeah, you did so much history digging and you missed that.
I did.
That's good.
I did all my reading for like post 80s movies though.
I like people who bring the facts.
Yeah, I love that because I sure as shit didn't. I just had time to be enthralled.
No, I did either. Sometimes I have facts sometimes in my head where I'm like, ooh, I can share that, but most times I don't do any homework.
So after that, we have our top 5 is spoken for all of us. Cool. I have Ronin next. That's spoken for.
Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Dark Knight, but
too far off on that.
Yeah. So Dark Knight is going. Ooh, this is interesting. Dark Knight's going against Bad Boys 2. These are good chases, man. So the earlier the matchups themselves in the 16 will be very interesting, but I don't know about a winner. Like, I don't know if it's going to differ than anything else because we all fucking synchronize at number 1. Anyway, right. It's still going to be fun to talk about.
Happen? I don't think it's ever.
I don't think it's ever happened.
No, we've all at least had some variance. So
exactly. So Dark Knight was our 6. Blues Brothers. We got Drive, Fast 5. We can do Drive. All of us have Drive.
I like Drive. Yeah. I like Drive.
Drive is going to face Raid 2. The subtle versus the loud.
Wow! Holy shit.
Blues Brothers will face, I think, Fast 5, since that's a commonality.
Again, practical versus not.
Right, just noise. It's different noises, though.
Yeah.
I like... Death Proof is a great one.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and plug that in at 13. Death Proof is amazing. at least car chase wise. And we have Italian Job, French Connection from JD, and for me, I have Born Identity.
I mean, we have that many spaces left, right?
Yeah. Well, oh yeah, we do. Holy shit.
Right,
so I'm gonna go Born. Well, I mean, if it's cool with everybody else, I'm gonna go Born Identity. I think people should really rewatch that one.
Cool.
And then French Connection because of its legacy.
Okay.
Which is going against the equally practical and groundbreaking Matrix Reloaded. And
yeah, right.
Now, let me ask you guys.
People are gonna be so mad at us.
How many horns were honked during the Matrix Reloaded scene?
I'm pretty sure there were a few. You just
I argue none,
because the cars were not real, so there was no honking. Gene Hackman actually honked that horn, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
so
well,
it wins.
You know what? Save it for the ring.
hey, save it for the match. Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Sorry to everybody that there were like other ones. We had omissions. Like it is what it is. We had I hadn't seen like French Connection 2. There were some Jackie Chan movies that had some amazing car chases. I just didn't get around to rewatching them. Like Who Am I, which is one of my favorite Jackie Chan movies. Seriously, I went on a kick for Jackie Chan like when I was younger.
Vanishing Point. I've never seen Vanishing Point.
Me neither. I did watch To Live and Die in L.A., which is a great movie. Like, it's a great cop movie. Super 80s. Like, the soundtrack has a lot of that synth stuff. But the car chase is really great because they keep just running into people that are shooting at them. They're just, like, on the side of the road and shit. It's great, but it's like, you know, these cops are getting just dirtier and dirtier as they keep progressing into the movie. And I love those type of movies. Like, these cops are just doing fucked up shit to find their man, basically. And it's fucked up too because they're not really cops. They're like counterfeit agents. Like, who cares? It's fake money. Who gives a shit? And they're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go kill this guy real quick. It's no big deal.
no big deal.
I've had some honorable mentions. I think worth mentioning, like The Rock is a great car chase.
Oh man, that was very close to being in my top 10.
Yeah.
And to y'all's point about the shit just randomly blowing up, that trolley runs into like a Bronco on the side of the road at the very end and goes up in like a 20-foot fucking explosion.
Yeah, and it gets thrown off the tracks. I love that shit.
Oh,
and all the one-liners, all the shitty fucking one-liners.
From the train director's like, y'all save yourselves! Like,
save yourselves!
Yeah, save yourselves! Fucking great. And then you fucked up your Ferrari.
Not
mine. Yeah. Oh my god, man, it's so great.
It's right after the chase too. He's walking with Connery, and he's like, "Cut the chit chat, a-hole."
A-hole. Yeah. That's one of my
chit chat, a-hole.
That's one of my favorite movies that shouldn't be anybody's favorite movie ever.
Right.
JD, you and I are gonna have to make sure that we pull that movie all the way through if it ever makes it on a list because I love that movie more than people should.
We should definitely go back. Kyle and I did. We actually did 1996 bracket already with There Is No Podcast and Scream. I think Scream won that, but The Rock was in there.
Okay.
And now that we have 3 people, I mean, it's worth revisiting.
Dude,
I'm sure I have.
Scream may not win again. The Rock is one of my favorite action movies of all time because it hits all the notes of what an action movie should be.
Dude,
one-liners, dumb moments. Yeah, like a buddy type comedy cop movie. You know, like have so much good banter together. It hits every single note. I'm sorry, it's a Michael Bay movie, but every once in a while he hits it. You know.
Yeah, he gets
not anymore. But back in the day, you know, like with Bad Boys, Bad Boys has that awesome like sequence where they're like shooting each other through the walls. Bad Boys 2 specifically. Like I really like that sequence. There's a lot of like sometimes I'm like, did he really do that? We have to give this to him? God damn it.
Yep. I agree, man.
Boy. We have a great bracket. I'm about to send it to you guys, actually. I think this is a great bracket full of great chases, but there may be a favorite early on, that's for sure. It's hard to say because if we're talking about, you know, chases and what it takes to make one in a smaller, and the rest of the movie is not a chase. I don't know. We can argue semantics when we get there.
Sure, yeah.
If we need to, but I don't
there
know.
There are no rules. You bring up whatever you need to make your point.
Exactly.
You know?
I'm excited that all of our shit got represented. I'm excited to go to the bracket next week, and then after that, we'll do mid-year top 5s, and it's gonna be.
Oh my god!
I'm really excited for that.
Good. Yeah.
I'm finally glad that like my I've seen enough to compose a legit top 5.
I feel like I've stayed on top of it. I've stayed on top of it enough to feel good about it. So.
Yeah. Dude, I just got Logan on Blu-ray. Cannot wait to watch the noir version.
Such a good movie.
Logan.
You killed them all, Logan.
Logan. Okay, sorry. So
That's correct.
Somebody who said that, was that you, JD, or
Yeah,
you said that at like the gig that I played at like this past weekend, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. Patrick Stewart saying Logan. That's
exactly.
That's the extent of my Patrick Stewart impression.
It was the game 3 people were, and they were all your friends. Fantastic. Which I love, by the way. That's great.
It's fun. Fuck it.
Yeah. More loops, I think.
So I'm excited to dive into those two, and then we'll do some other themed stuff for the July releases, like Dunkirk and War for the Planet of the Apes, which I hear is one of the best movies of the year so far. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited as fuck for that movie.
I cannot believe that movie. Like I knew it was gonna be good. People are like, dude, no, this movie's like really good.
Yeah,
like,
you don't understand.
Fuck. Yeah, like the bar has already been set. So like that's kind of what I felt like we were gonna get. Just like, oh, we're gonna get like more Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and they're like, no.
No, you don't even get it.
Guys, seriously.
Watched Dawn for the first time, like, what, month and a half, 2 months ago? Like, I'm just glad that I'm on the train. I'm on the hype train. 100%.
Oh, yeah, you're all the way there. Oh, man.
Yeah. Awesome. Pulling in. We're heading
we'll
to the
see
station.
it. Fuck it. We'll just like see it together. I'm actually I'm seeing Baby Driver on Tuesday. JD, we should
should we synchronize on that?
Should we synchronize and see some Baby Drivers? We should see some infant drivers actually drive.
Can you Skype me and just hold the phone towards the screen?
Just totally do that.
Won't allow that.
I've got a hotspot. I've got unlimited data on my phone. So like, if you want to do that, man, let's do it.
There we go. It's done.
I'm like talking the entire movie, and they're like, "Shut your phone up."
I can't. He's watching the movie. God.
Turn your phone up. That's my fucking friend Kyle, asshole.
Yeah, that's my friend.
Hey, you don't talk to my friend like that. It's super loud for no reason. I love how much this show derailed, and it just feels great. It's just natural. So you guys can reach me on Twitter at Jeff Whitty, WIDDY, and you can find us on iTunes and Google Play and any podcast app you have. Podcast Addict I use, and we're on the fuck out of that app. SoundCloud.
That's what I use. I use Podcast Addict.
Yeah, I love that app, dude. It's awesome.
Good stuff.
And we're totally on it. So people.
Dude, we're on it. Yeah, that's where I'm subscribed to on this. So our 5 subscriptions, I'm one of them.
You're one of them. You're one of the 5.
I'm one of our
JD's
5.
The other. I'm the other.
Yeah, and our moms are the other 2.
Probably.
Except my mom, because she literally said, "I hate your show." So.
I've tried to ask mine. What would it take? What would it take to get you to listen to the bigger, or not the bigger than my podcast? She listens to that all the time, actually. But Entertournament, no. I think we'd have to do an entire podcast dedicated to like Bewitched episodes for her.
We should cater an episode to our moms.
Oh my god, we should have done that for Mother's Day.
No, we're doing it for next Mother's Day. We got to, and then it'll be cool. We'll be like, yeah, I think you'd really like this. We catered it to like your likings.
Yeah.
We hated the episode, and it was really boring, but you guys will love it.
The best person to go shopping with.
We have to leave our racism, sexism, and inappropriate jokes at the door on that episode.
That's our gift, so we don't have to spend any money.
Movies top 10.
I made an episode for you, Mom, and you're gonna listen to it.
It's like top 10 movies that make you think of your mom.
Yeah, top 10 movies with I don't know, Barry Manilow in it. I don't know.
We did top 10 MILFs.
My mom's like, I would not be interested in that.
Jesus. All right. So number 1's clearly Judy Greer, right? No. All right, so you guys, I told everybody where they could find me. So Kyle and Kyle.
You can find me over there at that twitch.tv/sub_cultured. I stream every Wednesday, and we're almost streaming every night now. So kind of tune in the evening. Someone will be on doing something to entertain you.
Nice, dude. That's awesome.
And they're forcing us to do writing assignments right now. So it's a nightmare. Yeah, that's all. That's it. That's all you can find me at.
Oh, I forgot. People can find me at horrorgeeklife.com. I'm still trying to work up the courage and the time and the mind frame to write up my Oak Cliff Film Festival review, and it comes at night. I still want to write a review for that, dude. That's such a deep-ass movie.
That this week.
So polarizing too, surprisingly polarizing.
I love that it's polarizing.
I do too, especially being on our side of it, because I feel like everybody that has an argument against it is just, you're not being objective. You're weighing it based on.
I wanted a monster movie.
Yeah, and I
It's
get
just
that.
zombies.
I get that because the marketing leads you to believe that.
Yeah, it
but
comes. It comes at night. Yeah.
I have a solution for those people who just fall for marketing. Marketing is meant to fool you.
Exactly.
That's what it's created for.
It's designed to take money out of your fucking wallet.
Yeah, money that you don't need to give, but they
the
want you to give.
If the movie that I saw was described to me as it was, I would have still been just as excited to go see it in the fucking theater. So I can't, I can't fault it for that. I mean, if it brings more people in to see it, all right, whatever, lie to the people. But
I can't stand that people say that nothing happens in that movie. It drives me
oh my
fucking
god,
crazy.
so much happen. Oh my
Yeah, I
god,
know.
I can't wait to watch this movie and hate it so I can be the guy who does it. Like, yeah, everyone's right. You guys are nuts.
I'd be very intrigued if you did hate it. Like,
No,
I'd actually kind of want that a little bit. Just to have a different opinion on here. Anyway, JD, your places, I think.
yeah, but I don't have any underscores or like hashtags or anything. I'm just like here. So
Yeah.
you can find me in the metaphysical here, the ether of whateverness, man.
All right, well, that's
There you
super
go.
exciting. So stay tuned for next week when these epic car chases face off against each other. It's gonna be, oh man, it's gonna be huge.
So big.
High-pitched ending time.